Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's episode. Thank you for joining us. It's Hump Day. We're all excited. You're excited, right, Ryan?
Always, every day I'm excited. I'm excited we got through the storm in one piece. My God, man, that was
It was
close.
fierce. It was fierce. It is Wednesday, August 11th, and actually have some interesting news today that Ryan's going to dig into for us, as well as some follow-up from yesterday's episode news piece that we did too. So pretty exciting stuff. But first, let me just remind everybody that everything we talk about, analyze, vocalize, or otherwise discuss amongst ourselves here is strictly for educational and mostly entertainment purposes, and not to be construed for financial advice, because I'm not a financial advisor.
Neither am
My wife would completely agree with that.
I.
So, also another thing I want to bring up over at TradeTheChain.com, we have our referral contest kicked into high gear, where the grand prize is a VIP NASCAR experience in Las Vegas. I know. In the end of September. So definitely for one lucky person, well, two actually, because you get two of everything, right? Two passes, do this, do that. But everything is going to be in the description below. Check it out. Completely free to enter. You don't even have to be a member of TradeTheChain.com.
No.
So off to the races we go. Ryan, what do we got? I mean, I know what we have. We've spoken about it while going into the show, but it's actually quite the headline, to be honest with you.
Yeah, this is remarkable, and this is something that we've talked a lot about the potential of happening in Trade the Chain Daily, the markets show with Monty and CJ. The idea that Ethereum would eventually start to gain market share because of all the activity in NFT protocols and DeFi protocols and everything else being built on the Ethereum blockchain. And now we're starting to see evidence that that may actually be coming true. Just yesterday, after their second quarter earnings report, Coinbase disclosed that Ethereum makes up 26% of the total trading volume for the last quarter. Bitcoin was only 24% of the trading volume. Wow. Ethereum is now the single most popular asset across all Coinbase. That's the first time ETH has ever topped Bitcoin, right? A year ago, Bitcoin was 50% of the volume and ETH was 15%. So that's a remarkable growth rate right there. And a lot of what this article from CNN talks about is how it's become popular because of NFTs. And for those of you who aren't aware what an NFT is, it's a non-fungible token. And you have athletes, you have artists, you have all these different people, musicians releasing hair, yes, NFT Hair Gorman. And they're releasing these NFTs, and they're one of a kind, and sometimes they're tied to experiential things. But often they're just collectibles like baseball cards or one-off albums by Wu-Tang or whatever it is that you can tokenize and sell. And they're selling sometimes for millions of dollars or hundreds of thousands of dollars. And just yesterday, I saw someone trying to buy a $50 NFT and they were told they had a $1,000 gas fee. So activity is clearly up on the Ethereum blockchain as well. And on top of that, CoinShares released a recent research report where Ethereum investment products are now 26% of all institutional investments in crypto assets. At the beginning of the year, they were only 11%. What do you make of this, Alex?
I think it's, well, first of all, I want to say on the institutional side that you just mentioned from the CoinShare thing, I think that's great. We all knew that Ethereum was going to eventually bleed into the mix on the institutional side. What shocks me is the fact that Ethereum outdid Bitcoin on Coinbase for revenue.
Yeah, that's remarkable. Though, given the popularity of a lot of DeFi projects and a lot of NFTs, I'm not going to say I'm surprised that it happened. I'm just surprised it happened this soon, right? I thought maybe next year or a couple of years once these platforms start to mature. But this year, and then couple that with the fact that you have institutions gobbling up options contracts from March of next year at the $40,000, $50,000 range for ETH. I mean, it feels like the momentum is getting behind it. And sentiment is really, sorry about that, ate those combos too fast. Sentiment is really trending towards positive, not just in the short term, but in the long term as well, no?
Yeah, well, hold on a second. Let's take a step back.
Yeah,
What are people trading the contracts for next March? What price range?
$40,000 to $50,000. So higher, about the price range that Bitcoin is in now. And if ETH gets to that price point and and Bitcoin doesn't appreciate at the rate that everyone else is saying it would, I mean, we're going to be awfully close. We'll have had a flippening, if I'm not mistaken, doing the math.
You know, what's surprising me is that, and you know, one of the things I'm doing right now is actually just pulling up the Ethereum chart so we can take a look at that sentiment. But you know, what's surprising me is the fact that Ethereum, we were just, me too. You know, with 88 Polygon, AVAX and such, and then all of a sudden the delay in the completion of 2.0, I didn't think it was going to. I thought it was going to lose market share. I'm actually stunned because I'm reading the articles and that we discussed and stuff like that, but I don't understand it.
Neither do I, especially after the DeFi hack yesterday. Previously, if a DeFi protocol got hacked for 12 million, like Sushi when there was the rug pull last year, or 50 million or 100 million, ETH goes for the floorboards. Instead, 611 million is taken, the largest DeFi hack ever, and almost from the point the hack was disclosed. Look at price action. It's remarkable, really, the resilience in the market right now for Ethereum.
It's unbelievable. So what's your opinion? We've all been stating, like, you know, or at least not all of us, but popular opinion, $8,000 to $10,000 range. You know, throwing that around there. We're talking now $40,000 and $50,000 bets for March on the options contracts. Where do you think? Where's your head lie in the sentiment of ETH moving forward?
I think maybe 40 to 50,000 is a little optimistic. And, you know, a lot of our viewers know that ETH is my biggest holding. And I'm not shy about saying that. And I always disclose that whenever I talk about it. And I would love to see ETH at 40 or 50K, but I just don't think that's realistic given where we're at. I think maybe 20, 25K would be incredible. That would be amazing price action. And I don't think that that's unreal. I don't think it's unrealistic. ETH is up 331% this year, and Bitcoin's up only 60%. So clearly, the rest of the market is starting to see that upside, and they're starting to realize that you get broad-based exposure to the whole universe of Ethereum and ERC20 tokens, DeFi, NFTs, all these different plays, Layer 3 tokens, without actually having to own them. So you're not subject to the insane volatility there, whereas ETH, the volatility, it's still a volatile token, but it's kind of smoothed out in relation to the underlying projects. And the upside there is just massive. It really is. When ETH had, I think it's had 2.8 million in inflows in the past month in terms of institutional assets, but Bitcoin had 33 million, right? So people are fleeing out of Bitcoin funds and not necessarily piling into ETH funds, but you know, there's starting to become demand for that, and that's probably why Neuberger Berman's filing today with the SEC. They're going to have commodities, an actively managed commodities strategy fund, which incorporates Bitcoin, Ethereum, and you know, derivatives. So you have cryptocurrency options, you have Bitcoin and ETH, you have investment in trusts. I think, you know, that's just further proof that before, even a year ago or 6 months ago, ETH would not have been included in this type of filing. It would have just been straight Bitcoin, especially for a $400 billion asset manager like Neuberger Berman. But now that ETH is being included in it, and you have all this other anecdotal evidence, the most popular cryptocurrency on Coinbase, insane growth in market share among institutionally managed products, it just feels like the stars are aligning for ETH to really go on a prolonged bull run that will continue outpacing Bitcoin.
It's interesting. I think a lot of L2 platforms helped support ETH's you know, stability in the marketplace, the rise of others that were competing to it. But now I'm looking for next year, I guess, to see more institutional interest start to peak in the possibility of taking serious positions in others like AVAX or Polygon or Cardano. So it'll be curious to see if they have that same investment mentality, you know, from functionality point of view.
So you know what's compelling about this Neuberger Berman fund? It has a $5 million minimum investment, according to the filing. That's a lot for a cryptocurrency fund. But there must be some reason they believe that the demand is there, that they're able to have that minimum, right? So that's only going to further bolster ETH. and Bitcoin, of course, but definitely ETH, because ETH being smaller and having a smaller market cap, it'll have an outsized impact on it versus Bitcoin. So I feel more bullish about ETH than I have in a really long time. And I don't understand why. It's just the evidence is there. The sentiment is there. It feels like it's that time,
I can't say anything. I can't say anything negative to that, to be honest with you. And I was negative on ETH going through the month of July, but the fork went off smoothly, and then you have this type of news, and then you do have the institutions now coming into play. It's going to be the same response that Bitcoin had when we started getting players in the space at the end of last year. So,
absolutely. And just one more thing on the fork. More Ethereum has been burned since the fork occurred, back a week ago today, than has been generated through miners and validations. So we're losing. There's becoming scarcity on Ethereum more so than there is Ethereum generated. So that's also another inflationary aspect.
And let's revisit that topic in the springtime when those those call options are in the $40,000 and $50,000 range. You factor in deflationary aspect. And the fact of scarcity, who knows? Maybe that's not so maybe that's not far off, man.
I'm usually the pessimist. So for me to be bullish, I can only be so bullish. I don't want to set myself up for excitement and then be let down, because, crypto has a way of doing that, right? Like you get all hype, Bitcoin to 100K, and then it crashes at 60K all the way down to 25.
Ryan, we all know everything only goes up. Okay.
Number go up, yes.
Now, here's some interesting stuff. Yesterday, we brought everybody the news, the huge Poly Network hack, $600 million in crypto plus, largest in history. And already 24 hours later, we have some good news.
We do. So Slowmist, which we talked about yesterday, tracked down the thief that perpetrated the $611 million hack across 3 separate smart chains, Binance, Ethereum, and Polygon rather. And they immediately identified him, the IP address, physical address, a picture of their ID, because
he KYC'd.
Oh my God, all the funds came from a centralized KYC exchange. So it was so easy to track him down. So instead of immediately returning the funds, he started posting taunting messages in transactions, like microtransactions, saying, maybe I'll keep it, maybe I won't. I took it because I could. I don't really care about the money. All of these things. And now, funny how that works once you say you know who he is. $1 million returned last night, 1.1 million returned later in the evening. And then this morning, another nearly 3 million returned. Let's be clear. You return, I guess, 5 million. You're not doing anyone any favors if you still have 606 million. However, he's shown a willingness to return the money and characterize himself or try and spin this as being a white hat hacker, right? So
yeah, there was
I don't know if we're going to get it all back or if they will get it all back, but they might.
Saw some tweets. I was reading through some tweets yesterday evening, from people who lost money, and a couple of them a lot. And it hurts, man. It really hurts. So I hope this guy does the right thing. I hope he returns it.
Did you see the message Poly Network posted on Twitter? It was like a screenshot of a document saying, "Can you please return the funds back?" It was one of the weirdest things I've ever seen, publicly asking the hacker to return the funds back. I've never seen a project do that. However, he seems to be doing it under his own volition. So that's a good sign, and hopefully the rest of the money comes back.
Hopefully soon. We'll monitor the situation, but let's not forget he still has 595 million.
606 million.
Whatever it may be. It's not making a dent yet for the people who lost. Folks, thanks for joining us today. Really appreciate it, as always and every day. Don't forget, before you leave, hit that like and subscribe button on your way out the door. And also make sure you check in the description once again for that referral contest we have at tradethechain.com. Don't even need to be a member. Grand prize is a V.I.P NASCAR experience for 2 in Las Vegas. So check it out. All will be in the description for you to get in on it. Brian, thank you for bringing us the news today.
My pleasure, Alex. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.